Welcome to this Elite Explainer. Today, we're completely deconstructing the Cambridge AS Level Afrikaans syllabus, specifically focusing on topic area 064, free time activities, and the critical balance between leisure and work. Listen, mastering this balance, and more importantly, learning exactly how to write about it according to Cambridge's incredibly strict assessment framework, is your literal golden ticket to unlocking those top-tier marking bands. We're going to treat this like a high-stakes masterclass. I'm going to show you precisely where students bleed marks and exactly how you can avoid those same traps. Look, I cannot overstate this. The difference between a B and an A star in Afrikaans language often comes down to how well you understand balance between leisure and work. As an examiner, let me tell you a secret. We aren't looking for a casual, generic list of weekend hobbies. We don't care that you like playing soccer and watching movies. What we are aggressively hunting for is a structured, deeply analytical deconstruction of how leisure and work interact in modern society. To help us break this down today, I'll be bringing in two brilliant scholars I work with. Alex, who is incredibly technical and excels at facts and formulas, and Sam, a highly creative thinker who constructs incredible arguments but sometimes struggles with timing. We're going to observe their strategies, analyze their mistakes, and build the ultimate exam blueprint. To guarantee you hit that A star, we are following a rigorous, time-blocked masterclass blueprint today. 1. The examiner's lens. 2. Peer deconstruction. 3. The roadblock. 4. Pause and practice workshop. And 5. Masterclass recap. Act 1. The examiner's lens. Let's decode exactly what happens behind the grading desk. Okay, we need to talk about the assessment framework. This is a rigorous grading structure that strictly prioritizes analytical depth over superficial breadth. In simple terms, it means you absolutely cannot just list 10 different free time activities, like playing sports, reading, gaming, and watching TV, and write one basic sentence about each. If you do that, you are hard-capped at a low grade. The exam requires logical, structured reasoning. To really grasp this, we have to deeply understand command words. This is where the magic happens. You need to know the profound difference between a prompt asking you to analyze versus one asking you to evaluate. Analyze means you take the concept, let's say the lack of free time in modern society, and you pull it apart to see how the pieces work. But evaluate? That requires a judgment. That means you're weighing the impact. And what about explain versus to what extent? Explain just wants the factual why, but to what extent is a high tariff command word, usually worth 9 to 15 marks, demanding that you measure the limits of an argument. The theoretical architecture of your essay rests on precise definitions and causal relationships. You need to pick 2 or 3 profound points about the balance between work and leisure and drill down deep. How does an imbalance affect societal mental health? What are the economic implications of a culture that values endless work over restorative leisure? That right there is the analytical depth the examiner is searching for. Let's talk about the ultimate differentiator: isolated answers versus cross-topic connections. Isolated answers will trap you in a mediocre marking band. If your essay discusses leisure completely in a vacuum, you are failing to hit the higher-order assessment objectives. However, when we look at the principal examiner reports, they definitively prove that candidates who reference cross-topic connections achieve significantly higher marks. Think about it like this. If you connect the balance of leisure and work to rapid technological advancements, for example, analyzing how smartphones and remote working software have completely blurred the lines between office hours and personal time, you instantly elevate your response into the top marking tier. You're showing the examiner that you understand the ecosystem of the Afrikaans syllabus. Integration with other syllabus areas isn't just a nice bonus, it is absolutely crucial for an elite school. Act 2. Peer deconstruction debate. Let's see how this actually plays out in a study session. I want you to picture Alex and Sam in a collaborative digital study suite, tackling a massively complex past paper problem on this exact topic. They are utilizing a 5-step standardized procedural sequence. Step 1, identify key elements. Step 2, apply relevant principles. Step 3, execute analysis with clear working. Step 4, verify results. Step 5, present in appropriate format. Now, listening in on their debate is fascinating. Alex, who is our highly technical scholar, is laser-focused on Step 3. He's arguing forcefully, saying we just need to execute the facts. The text says leisure time is down 15%. We write that down, we translate it perfectly into Afrikaans, and we move on. That's our assessment objective 1 and 2 sorted. But Sam, our creative thinker, steps in and immediately pushes back. He says, no, Alex, that's exactly how we get stuck in a B-grade band. If we just state the facts and don't verify the results conceptually in step 4, we completely miss assessment objective 3. Sam is right. He argues that they need to explore the conceptual perspective. Why is that 15% drop happening? How does it relate to societal burnout? They are actively debating how to unlock those top-tier bands, and it highlights a critical truth. Systematic processing within this topic requires merging Alex's factual, grammatical execution with Sam's broader conceptual verification. You literally cannot have one without the other if you want an A-star. During their debate, Alex makes an incredibly important point that we call the method mark strategy. He reminds Sam about strict presentation conventions. We're talking proper headings, absolute correct terminology, appropriate formats for the specific text type requested, and clear annotation. In the Cambridge Afrikaans 8679 exam, presentation is not just some superficial afterthought. It is heavily, heavily awarded. Even if you have the most profound, philosophically advanced ideas about work-life balance in the world, a messy format, or using an informal letter structure when a formal report was requested, will cause you to bleed marks unnecessarily. Alex is absolutely right to be a stickler for this.
Act 3. The roadblock. This is where things get really difficult.
Okay, I'm pausing the session right here because Alex and Sam have just hit a massive roadblock while drafting their model response. They're staring at their screen, the clock is ticking, and they are completely stuck on how to link their paragraphs smoothly to build a cohesive argument. This lack of cohesion is the exact moment where many candidates lose their top marks, timing slips away, and panic starts to set in. But actually, before we unblock them, I need to quickly intervene with a critical reminder. If you are serious about mastering these high-level exam strategies and want to guarantee your breakthrough, you need to subscribe to our channel, Ace the Exam's IGCSE O and A levels. That's at acetheexam_IGCSE. Hit that subscribe button right now and make absolutely sure you enable all notifications so you never miss our weekly Cambridge strategy drops. Okay, let's get Alex and Sam on stock. To get past this linking roadblock, I step into their session and introduce them to a cognitive strategy called the critical triad: deconstruct, solve, evaluate. Higher order objectives essentially demand this exact methodology. Here's how it works. First, deconstruct. You identify the given information in the text and break it down into logical, bite-sized steps. Second, solve systematically. You write out the core analysis of those points. But the third step, evaluate, is the magic key. This is what actually links your paragraphs together. You don't just state a fact and put a period at the end of the sentence. You check for reasonableness, you make justified recommendations, and you evaluate that fact's broader impact. That evaluation creates a natural, logical bridge directly into the argument of your next paragraph. It transforms a disjointed list into a flowing, persuasive essay. I have Alex and Sam rewrite their flawed section out loud using this triad. They were previously just identifying similarities and differences in a super basic way, writing things like work is stressful, but free time is relaxing. I stop them. Use comparative connectives, I tell them. Support both similarities and differences with evidence from the text. So Sam starts writing. He argues that while both work and leisure require time management, the severe lack of management in our leisure time uniquely contributes to modern burnout. Alex jumps in to add the specific Afrikaans terminology to ensure the grammatical execution is flawless. By evaluating the relative importance of these differences, rather than just listing them, they showcase a perfectly clear transition from a mediocre, descriptive answer to a flawless, full-mark response.
Act 4. Pause and practice workshop. It's time to test your skills.
Now, I'm speaking directly to you. Let's do an immersive workshop. Mentally process this first visual question. I want you to imagine a highly complex Afrikaans text excerpt right in front of you. It's discussing the rapidly declining hours of leisure time in the 21st century. A 60-second visual countdown timer just started in your head. Tick, tock. How do you extract that data? More importantly, how do you interpret the causal relationship between increased digital connectivity and decreased genuine free time? Under the immense pressure of the exam room, you have to execute this almost instinctively. You scan, you identify the core theme, you isolate the author's main argument, and you immediately map out your evaluation before you even pick up your pen. Let's move to scene 2 of our workshop. Spot the flaw. I'm going to display a hypothetical, poorly written student answer. Listen to this. People need free time because work is hard. Leisure activities like reading are good. Everyone should have a balance. Okay, where are the errors? I can systematically dissect 3 major flaws here that examiners will ruthlessly penalize. First, it completely lacks analytical depth. It is purely, painfully descriptive. Second, there are 0 cross-topic connections or specific high-level Afrikaans vocabulary that demonstrates true linguistic mastery. Third, and most fatally, it fails to evaluate the why. Why is work hard? Why is reading good for societal balance? This is a superficial answer that completely misses the higher-order assessment objectives of the Cambridge framework. I need you to read this examiner alert like your grade depends on it, because it does. Quote, "The classic mistake is providing generic answers not specific to the question context. Always link every point to the given scenario. If the text you are given on the exam is specifically about the impact of remote work on leisure time, you cannot, under any circumstances, just write a pre-memorized, beautifully rehearsed essay about the physical health benefits of playing soccer. Generic responses about free time will immediately cap your grade, no matter how perfect your Afrikaans grammar is. Every single analytical point you make must be tethered directly and explicitly to the specific scenario provided in the exam paper. To ensure you never fall into these trapdoors, I've pulled the absolute top 3 mistakes straight from the principal examiner reports for this specific topic. Number 1, answers are too vague, lacking specific details. You must use rigorous, evidence-based reasoning. Number 2, forgetting to check format and presentation. Remember Alex's method marks? They matter. If they ask for an article, give them an article layout. And number 3, reiterating our previous most vital point. Answers are not specific to the given context. This is exactly what the examiner is actively hunting for when grading your paper. They are looking to see if you actually read the prompt or if you're just regurgitating a textbook. Avoid these 3 traps and you are already mathematically ahead of the curve. Act 5 Masterclass Strategy Recap. Let's synthesize everything we've learned. Alex and Sam both had massive breakthroughs today. Alex realized that facts without concepts fall flat, and Sam realized that concepts without structure bleed marks. To synthesize this entire session into something you can carry into the exam hall, I'm giving you a high-level memory hack. Under exam conditions, your brain will be flooded with adrenaline. To ensure you can instantly recall the theoretical architecture, use a custom acronym for the factors affecting the balance between leisure and work. In Afrikaans, I highly recommend the acronym GET-KA. Let's break that down. G for Gesondheid, which is health, E for economy, economy, T for technology, technology, and K for culture, culture. Here is the master strategy. During the first 5 minutes of your exam, write Get Caught at the top of your planning page. This is your last 5 minutes review checklist as well. It guarantees that when you apply your 3-step question scan and your paragraph balance formula, you will hit all the vital cross-topic connections without panicking. You'll automatically think, did I mention how technology affects leisure? Yes, because the T in Get Caught reminded you. As we wrap up the educational portion of this explainer, I am leaving you with a highly provocative question to chew on. Are your exam answers generic, or are they deeply intrinsically rooted in the specific scenario context? I want you to be brutally honest with yourself as you review your past paper practice this week. If you're just passively describing things rather than aggressively deconstructing, solving, and evaluating them, you need to fundamentally change your approach today. The examiner can spot a generic answer from a mile away. Start implementing the critical triad immediately. Crushing Cambridge exams requires absolutely consistent, ruthless strategy. Mastering the balance between leisure and work isn't just about achieving an A-star on your Afrikaans 8679 paper. It is about deeply understanding the forces that actively shape our modern lives. The rigorous analysis, the nuanced cross-topic connections, and the critical evaluations you've practiced here today are the exact same high-level skills you will use to navigate the complexities of university and the real world. You need to keep refining your strategy, keep evaluating the evidence, and approach your very next past paper with true, uncompromising analytical depth. To make sure you do that, I'm reminding you one last time. Hit that subscribe button for Ace the Exam's IGCSE O and A levels at acetheexam_IGCSE. Turn on the notification bell right now for all our future exam hacks. And most importantly, go down to the comments and declare your target grade. Put it in writing, commit to the A-star. Let's get to work.